Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video of answering questions that probably none of you are actually interested in, but I'm here anyway. I was doing research on the Fallout wiki trying to figure out what is the worst weapon of melees in Fallout 4. And I started out looking at the swords, but they did double-digit damage. Even the combat knife did one less than 10 damage. That wasn't enough. The Mr. Handy Buzzblade looked promising, but then I saw it. The Ripper, dealing a staggering 4 damage. I also checked the blunt section to make sure that there was nothing weaker than that. And you'll guess what? There was nothing weaker than that. So, I decided that I would try and do a challenge where I could only use the Ripper since I believed it to be the worst weapon in the game. Starting out, I created my character as true to life as possible. I mean, minus the actual reality. I'm kind of just making it random, but there was one key thing that I needed to do. I was going to turn my character into a basketball, and I did. Being such, I set my special stats, and then of course I couldn't come up with a name to suit anything. I tried coming up with like a primal joke, but then I decided to name him after the sport that I know nothing about. Basketball. It was perfect. I decided to sprint towards the vault, but seriously, I look so funny running, it's kind of ironic. How I got a wife, no one will ever know. Not even me. But oh my god, this is downright hilarious. But the challenge must go on. I entered the vault, seemingly at last minute chance, but it took a while for the nukes to drop. I thought they would have dropped a lot sooner. I got frozen in the vault, and then my wife was murdered, so I knew I had to do something. I exited the vault, and then came across a very simple but easy problem. I claimed my wife's ring before moving on, and then here's the problem. I can't leave the vault without attacking anything, meaning the rad roaches. But luckily, like most of you, I know Mitten Squad. He has done this a few times, so I decided if he can do it, I can do it. And I was somewhat right. I could get it done, it just took a while, because I kept trying to close the door behind me and inevitably failing because I don't really know what I'm doing. But eventually I did manage to make it outside. See here? One thing that was annoying is whenever I got attacked by all the rad roaches, they kept hitting me so often, and being on the very hard difficulty, they took a majority of my health and my stim packs. That kinda sucked. I set the difficulty down to normal because I've beaten the game multiple times on very hard difficulty, and at this point, I'm not willing to do it again. Maybe another day, but certainly not today. And then you just hide. I escaped the vault, and then got into another problem. I need to find it. It can be sold at different vendors, or the West Everett Estates, but I wanted to try the vendors first. We got Cleo in Good Neighbor, Arturo in Diamond City, Cricket at Bunker Hill, and Tinker Tom at the Railroad. So I slept for a few days in a bed outside at Sanctuary, and then prepared for my adventure. I knew that I was going to start by going to Diamond City, but something strange happened. Along the way, I found Duke, a random character in this anime. I didn't know what he was doing, but all I know is he was in power armor. I wanted power armor, but I wouldn't get some for quite a while. I basically told Trudy that, hey, I don't want to do anything, but I just don't want to shoot anyone because I'm a pacifist until I get my chainsaw. And somehow that worked, despite me having low charisma. I let Paladin Dance deal with the Brotherhood ghouls again. Yes, I said Brotherhood ghouls. We don't know that these ghouls weren't Brotherhood. We do now. These Diamond security officers are also really good at dealing with the super mutants. See, I needed them dead so I could loot them for ammo, which I can sell. Even if a single piece of ammo is only worth 1 cap, a lot of ammo gets me a lot of caps and stim packs. Arturo didn't have what I was looking for, so I was disappointed in him, but I couldn't kill him here and now. Cleo also didn't have what I was looking for, but I didn't kill her because I don't have a weapon. Arturo I would have been fine with. Cricket didn't have what I was after either, but I let Cricket live because she has the spray and pray, and I like that legendary weapon, and I use it in a lot of challenges, so she gets to live. I decided West Everett Estates was the way to go. I didn't have a plan for this. I barely read the wiki to understand where it was. I had an idea, but the wrong idea. My first plan was to sneak around and then try and just run for it whenever I see it, or grab it and run. That really wouldn't work out like you all think it would. Actually, it might. A lot of you know how bad I am at games, because I died right as I got to it. Second time in there, I grabbed my Ripper, and then I just ran. I didn't fight anyone, I didn't stay, I did a quick save, but I made sure that I had it. And then I took a lot of jet and medics. I equipped my weapon, and it was glorious. And to prove to you that I haven't killed anyone yet, it took me a while, but under stats or data, you can see enemies that you've killed. I have killed nothing before getting the weapon. So, the challenge can officially begin. Starting out, I sold just about every other weapon and some ammo to the merchants to get me as much stim packs as possible. I was expecting this run to be horrible considering the Ripper was so bad. That will turn around, but still, I needed as much stim packs as possible. They didn't like what I had to sell, but they took it without regard. I fought some raiders with Paladin Dance and didn't even get a proper chance to test out this weapon because Dance killed every one of these bastards before I could. Fuck you, man. I became my childhood dream of dressing up as a mailman. You may think that's lame. I think it's a great way to meet dogs. Dance and I continued up the path where we found some mongrel dogs. By the way, this weapon is not nearly as bad as I thought it was. Yes, it has low damage, but it makes up for it with an insanely fast attack speed. Inside, the synths got more than their fair share of beating my ass. See, I'm not good at melee combat in Fallout 4. These guys kicked my ass multiple times. Deeper inside, I made the mistake of firing the engine, but when I realized that wasn't, in fact, a Ripper, I came out to fight with Paladin Dance. I stood more of a chance against the synths this time, and I lasted about as long as you would expect. The second time, I decided to let Dance fight them off until they stopped spawning. This kept going on for about 5 minutes, and then I just activated it, because I realized this might actually spawn infinite synths. I had more than enough ammo to satisfy anyone with 679 fusion cells that I would sell almost immediately. I picked up the deep range transmitter, picked up a righteous authority, which is about as useful to me as a fried egg. I showed back up at Bunker Hill, and by Bunker Hill, I meant Concord. We can't go to the good places. I wasn't here to rescue Preston Garvey. No, dear viewer. I don't know why you would all think that. I've already done the Minutemen ending. I'm not fucking with the Minutemen for a while. The power armor on the roof, however, that was my goal. And I did complete my goal by getting the power armor. I did fight inside the subway station without the power armor. No one can tell you why. I just did. But I got whooped. Again. The problem with this weapon is that it's weak. The other problem is that Dino exists. Dino is a lot. He killed me a couple of times because he's named, so naturally he's tougher. I did what I could, but it wasn't much. Dino will die eventually. Vats, however, will not be the one to do it. Vats is a tricky thing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Let me explain. Vats can either do a regular amount of damage, or if I get a critical hit, it does 1 attack, meaning my critical is 6 damage. So I can either get a couple of hits off of them and it actually looks like I've been hitting him for a minute, or a critical hit, which is just a single swing doing only 6 damage. That is not something I wanted. But Skinny Malone did die all the less. His triggermen, however, were a lot easier to kill. Darla also went down foolishly. I upgraded my Ripper with the curved blade. I wanted to get the extended blade as well, but whenever I was looking at it, I needed to be about level 30 to unlock the skill in order to upgrade it to the extended blade. I'll tell you all right now, that never once happened. I sat down and gave my interview to Kellogg about Kellogg to Nick Valentine. And then I looted his house for anything of value. There wasn't much. I pulled a mitten squad trick by just placing steel fences together and to give me a little bit more XP to try and level myself up. Dogmeat went to Fort. I went inside Fort and took down the synths. Nick was with me, but I did most of the work here. By the way, a fun thing, the institutes don't kick my ass as much as they used to. Basketball is a reigning champion, because Kellogg tried to come out. Normally, this is where I either hit him with a fat man or just not talk to him, but I wanted to try it. So, I got close enough, spiked some chems, and bam, Kellogg was going down. See, his health is draining pretty good. Frankly, the synths in the room were a lot harder to kill than he was. Why? Because he didn't have a chance to shoot me. They did have a chance to shoot me, and it kind of broke my heart. But everyone went down all the same. the Brotherhood arrived, and I knew I would kill those motherfuckers for just breathing the same air as me. They did die. Piper wanted to know what was going on, and, well, I'm psychotic. I went out stargazing because all this violence really didn't feel good. The moon doesn't look real anymore, but the stars in the night sky truly were pathetic. I found Duke again, and then I actually got to talk to him because I was in power armor. I don't really know what else here. He gave me something, but I never went. I went into the glowing sea for the first time, did more stargazing because I realized the green kinda looks cool when looking up at the stars. Saw a Brotherhood ship, but really didn't care. Virgil, I can't keep track of the names anymore, Virgil gave me something to take down a courser, maybe. I decided that my room needed a trophy stand, Kellogg's pistol, a toy car, some whiskey, and finally, an upper skull that I took from an enemy I killed. Maybe. I did, however, have a fun challenge of the synth. See, this synth is annoying because he goes invisible. Not just that, but he can also pop stim packs. This fight went on for a lot longer than it should have. Even with Nick Valentine's help, we had moments. See, he would be able to punch me, which would throw me off my game, and he punches fast. But also, anytime there's distance, he pops a stim pack. I wanted this motherfucker dead, and I knew this motherfucker was gonna die. It just took me far too long to actually kill him. This is the entire fight. I didn't fail the fight once and then restart it. It just took way too long to kill him. But I did loot his body of a chip that I wanted. Tinker Tom decoded it after I made sure I would never be around him again because Tinker Tom is horny for machines. I bought just about every stim pack I possibly could. Listened to a very, very long Brotherhood speech by Maxon. I didn't even know what he was saying, I just listened. And then had a problem. See, for those of you who passed 3rd grade, know that a minigun is not the Ripper, meaning I couldn't attack the behemoth with it. And if you don't kill the behemoth, you can't land, which means I can't use the vertibird. Boy, oh boy. I ended up killing the behemoth by Paladin Dance killing it. I really didn't have much of a choice. It didn't do any damage to it, and plus it would kill me just for breathing. But I did hit it quite a bit and hide the rest of the match. It finally went down with me being brave enough to taunt it and Dance using his laser rifle instead of meleeing it like a pussy. You all know how Dance is. He's not even good at anything. I ended up powering up the generators and everything after way too long because I can make things way too confusing for even myself. I became the fattest man in the world to take this elevator, and I was proud of it. I talked to Father, who is now my son, and I don't know what that means. But all I know is I was prepared to tell my son, Father, that I loved him, and I don't love him anymore. I did progress the Institute quest line because I was going to side with them because I didn't know if enemies that weren't synths would actually bleeding from this. But one thing I do know, this legendary raider sucked. He killed me a lot. I did once actually try this. Ubisoft refuses to create a good Assassin's Creed game anymore. So I synchronized for them. And then of course I knew what I had to do. I cannonballed into the ocean, destroying the planet and drowning within seconds. Father also wanted to go stargazing, and he did. I sent Paladin Dance away because I was curious to see, if the Brotherhood dies, can I talk to him afterward, or would he die with them? Who knows? Father named me his successor, so I accepted the raise and position. I ended up arriving at the whatever this place is called, I don't remember anymore. We were here for Beryllium Agitator. The elevator sequence wasn't hard, because I literally just sat there and did nothing. Ellie and X688 took most of the hits. I just did nothing. It was pretty easy, I will tell you. On the inside, the Securitron and Assaultrons were pretty tough. By pretty tough, I mean I had to use them, that being the other two out there that aren't humans. I don't think Ellie is a human, but she did end up providing cover. This and a lot of chems, because on its own, the Ripper was not going to kill these things. So, I had to use quite a bit of chems and quite a lot of cover. Luckily for me, the sentry bot can't fit through this door, so it's a perfect place for me to hide in between, actually getting damage in. The Assaultrons were a different story, but chems all around, and then it eventually went down after about 10 minutes each. This weapon sucks. I placed the thingy in the thingy that gave our institute more power, and it was finally time to continue the mission. I went to Ironsides and did some work for him because I wanted to make things interesting. I got a broadsider, which I knew I can't use, but I knew someone who could. X688 would take the broadsider happily, whether he wanted it or not. I don't care his feelings. And of course, I did get to fly in the ship, which of course meant that I got to suffer a death. It was well worth it, though. Really. The railroad is a tricky thing. They were really easy to kill. The only one who really stood a chance here was Glory. Seriously, everyone went down super easy, but Glory, once she lost her minigun, she too felt like a bitch. I made sure to kill Pam too, which was easy. Pam never attacked me, and in fact, she only ever ran from me, but she did die. All the same, it was glorious. I arrived at the airport to determine the fate of the Brotherhood of Steel, and by that I mean I was going to kill every last one of these machine-loving sickos, and that I did. I also made sure to kill Scribe Halen and just about any named person I met, including Dance, which was tricky, but I promise you, Dance did fall eventually. His power armor took a lot of beatings, though. Proctor Ingram also made sure to die. It took a while because sometimes random NPCs would just get in my way of killing her. They thought they needed her. I knew she needed to be dead. I don't like cripples, and this proves it. The one thing that sucked is I never found Elder Maxson. I knew he was here because I could hear him, but I couldn't figure out where he was, and I got teleported away long before I actually got the chance to find him. Of course, I did steal some power armor in the very end. I ended up walking back, and I searched the Brotherhood compound for hours. I was determined I would find Elder Maxson, or I would kill myself. I couldn't find him. I didn't kill myself. But I wanted to wear his clothing and then mock any remaining Brotherhood. It didn't work. Father thanked me for doing all that I could, and I beat the game using only the Ripper. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all appreciated this video. Let me know if there are any other specific weapon challenges or anything you would like to see me do in Fallout 4. Again, I thought this was going to be the weakest weapon, but in the end, I really don't think it was. Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and just stick around for the next video. Sorry I haven't been uploading as much. Have a great day.